Imagine waking up to the sound of bombs instead of birds. The sky outside your window, once blue and full of promise, now carries the echo of destruction. Each step you take feels like it could be your last, each moment a gamble with fate. Welcome to the Syrian Civil War, a conflict so complex, it defies simple explanation, and so devastating, it has reshaped not only a nation but an entire region. But here's the real question: how did it come to this? And more importantly, what lessons can we learn before it's too late? The story begins in March 2011. The Arab Spring was sweeping across the Middle East, a wave of hope and reform challenging decades of authoritarian rule. In Syria, however, that wave didn't bring freedom, it unleashed a storm. What began as peaceful protests, with citizens chanting and carrying banners demanding justice and liberty, quickly escalated into chaos. Why? Because power, when threatened, strikes back. And in Syria, that strike was as swift as it was brutal. Within weeks, the regime responded with an iron fist. Protesters who once sang songs of hope were met with tear gas, batons, and bullets. The streets, once places of community, became battlegrounds. Families were torn apart, their homes transformed into ruins. The world watched, horrified and helpless, as the conflict spiraled out of control. But let's take a step back. Have you ever thought about what it takes to keep hope alive in such despair? What kind of courage it takes to dream when every dream could shatter with the next explosion? For the Syrian people, resilience wasn't just an act of defiance. It became a way of survival. It wasn't just the Syrians who were pulled into this storm. As the nation fractured, rebel groups formed, alliances shifted, and a new dimension emerged: global intervention. The United States, Russia, Iran, Turkey. It was as if Syria became the chessboard for a high-stakes game played by superpowers. Each move brought more destruction. Each alliance deepened the divide. But here's the twist: who's actually winning this game? The answer is as haunting as the conflict itself: no one. The human cost is staggering. Over 13 million Syrians were displaced. That's nearly half the population. Think about that for a second. Imagine your hometown emptied, your friends scattered across continents, your memories reduced to ashes. Yet, even in this devastation, humanity shines. Refugees have rebuilt communities in exile, their stories becoming a testament to the unbreakable human spirit. Children born in camps have learned to laugh, to play, to dream of futures brighter than their past. And yet, we cannot ignore the question: at what cost? This isn't just a story about war. It's a story about power, how it's wielded, how it's abused, and how it's resisted. And here's the chilling part: could this happen anywhere? Could it happen here? If history teaches us anything, it's that no nation is immune to the forces of division and conflict. Yet, amidst the darkness, there's hope. Grassroots organizations are working tirelessly to provide food, education, and medical aid. Ordinary people are becoming extraordinary heroes, proving that even in the worst conditions, humanity's light cannot be extinguished. Imagine this: a teacher in a refugee camp turning scraps of paper into textbooks, or a doctor saving lives with makeshift tools. These stories are the flickers of light in a night that refuses to end. So, what can we do? For one, we can stay informed. Ignorance fuels indifference, and indifference allows atrocities to continue unchecked. Second, we can support credible organizations working on the ground to bring relief to those who need it most. And third, we can demand that our leaders prioritize peace over politics, diplomacy over destruction. The Syrian Civil War isn't just a tragedy, it's a warning. It's a reminder of how fragile peace can be and how vital it is to protect it. So, the next time you hear about Syria, don't just see it as a distant conflict. See it as a call to action, a call to remember that we're all connected and what happens there matters here. The war isn't over. The question remains: how will the story end? And what part will you play in it?